Hello friends, welcome back to our channel. It is January 28th today and it is 26 degrees and it's hard to believe that 26 degrees can feel so warm, but it's been so cold, especially the last few weeks. Every day has been just an absolute battle for keeping things thawed and everything for us. I think this is the worst winter that we've had since we've been living here. The wind chill today is about 12 because it's pretty high winds today. It's been really windy the last probably 3-4 days. We've had wind advisories and all sorts of stuff. And we've just had an absolute battle keeping things thawed out this year. We've gone over how we've done our plumbing in our house in previous videos, but for a lot of our new subscribers, we have a small barn, kind of a small barn dominium, and it's a pole and beam construction. So we have, our water comes in to the house from a little back room that we keep heated, and it goes right into our bathroom. So that's heated, but then the only way to get the water to the kitchen is to go through an outside wall, just because the house is so small. That's the only choice that we had to do that. And obviously that's not ideal. Dan's built 5 other houses, just regular houses, and has always passed all the inspections, all the codes and everything. So we know what you're supposed to do. And obviously putting water lines through an outside wall is frowned upon because of this very reason, but it was the only way we could get it to the kitchen. So we leave our cupboard doors open at night, try and keep it really warm, but it's hard to sleep when it's really warm at night too. So it's kind of been a battle. It's never frozen in the bathroom because it comes in through the heated back room, so it's never a problem. But the kitchen does sometimes freeze when it gets to single digits. And we've had some suggestions to keep the water running a little bit, and we've done that on occasion, and that's actually helped when we know it's going to be really cold at night. We turn the water on and let it drip, just a kind of a steady drip, keep the water running, and trying to get that happy medium between the hot and the cold so both lines don't freeze. And that's worked okay at night, and we've woken up in the morning and been able to just turn the water on, and it's been fine. However, there are occasions when it's been really cold where Dan and I have been on the same work days, and we work 24-hour shifts. So not only does running the water for 24 hours kick the well on a whole lot more, it also it drains our batteries because the well pump has to kick on, and we haven't had any sun and who knows how long. We are able to keep track of our solar intake on our phones with the Victron app, and it'll give you a little graph, how much solar have you made every single day for the last, you can go back quite a ways, and it's been pretty flat line for the last 2 months. And we get a few hours of sun here and there, but it's usually later in the afternoon, and that's past our solar window. The sun is already so far down that we just don't get any solar. So we've been making just a few watts every day. So we've been running the generator in the morning and at night for about an hour and a half to kind of boost those batteries up a little bit. So keeping the water on is just not necessarily an ideal thing, especially for 24 hours. We did do it when it was going to be really, really cold, and it was predicted to be in the negative single digits. So we kept the water on. We were at work. We came home to the cold water was frozen because we didn't get it set quite on the hot and the cold evenly, because it's just one faucet, so you can't turn them both on. You got to get it just right, and you never know quite which one we're going to get more of. And so the cold water was frozen. I'd rather have hot water than just cold water with no hot, but ideally I don't want it to freeze at all. And not only was the cold water frozen, but we had a backup in the drain, and the drain was completely frozen. We have never had our drain freeze before, and we think that what happened was that the slow drip in the drain just caused it to it was just enough water build up in there, and it wasn't draining out like it normally does to that it just froze. It got a little bit of ice buildup in it, and it just slowly built up during the day with just that little bit of a drip, and it backed up to the point where it was not in the house where it was frozen. It was definitely down underneath the floor under the house, and it was not an area that we could get to. So we ended up taking the entire plumbing out from underneath the sink in the kitchen. I took the trap off, drained out the sink, drained out the trap, and then we took off the pipe that goes down to the floor and got a little siphon pump and siphoned out the water down as far as we could, and found how far down the ice jam was, and it was quite far down because we could run the tube quite a ways down into there, and then just sucked out all the water and just kept putting warm and hot water down in there, sucked it out again, put hot water down in there, and just kept doing that. And it took us 8 hours. It literally took us all day to get that drain cleaned out. And I think I would rather deal with the frozen pipes than the frozen drain again. The frozen pipes, we figured out how we need to do that. We have holes permanently drilled in the back of our cupboards and in the walls, and my hairdryer fits perfectly in that little hole. We turn on the generator, turn the hairdryer on for 15 minutes in each hole, and it's usually thawed out. So we've gotten really good at that. It's not obviously not a good thing to have your pipes freeze, but man, that drain was hard to clean out. So definitely not something that we want to deal with again. So we're gonna have to figure out something else to do on these days when we both work at night and it's going to be really cold, because it's gonna be down in the single digits again next week and a couple nights this week as well. Tomorrow is going to be almost 40 degrees. It's going to be really nice. There's some things that you got to get done today before things get kind of sloppy and wet. I got to get my chicken coop cleaned out. My chickens do not like the snow, so it's been kind of hard to get in there and clean them out because they're underfoot and they don't like me in there cleaning them out, and it's just been kind of a pain to deal with them in the winter because they just don't like the snow. They'll sit and look at the open door and just all sit there and look at the snow, but they will not go outside. But on another good note, I have gotten some eggs. I got my first 4 eggs this week, and I'm excited that they're finally laying. So I don't like the fact that they're laying in such cold temperatures that the eggs are freezing right away. I lost a couple of them to frozen temperatures already just because I didn't know that they were in there yet. But I'm going to keep a little bit better eye on them now that I know that some of them are laying already. They're pretty small. A couple of them have been pretty soft, but they are definitely getting to the point where the rest of them should be laying any day too now. So that's been great. You can see how messy my sink is, and hope you can see that. But we had to take the entire trap off, and then all the way down into here. We took it off down to here, and then just use this little siphon pump to get all of the water out. And it was we could get about 5 feet of hose down from this point right here. So about the point where it just started, probably where the drain started turning a little bit, is where it started to build up, and it just got to be kind of a mess in there. So an update on the root cellar. The root cellar, we were down there the other day. Everything's storing really well. My potatoes are great down there. All my canned goods are doing really well, even when it's been really, really cold. So we'll take a quick trip down to the root cellar in a minute. It's warm down here. It's 32 degrees in here, which means it should be frozen, but stuff's cold, but it's not frozen. That's jam, it's hard to tell. Nope. Everything's not frozen. It's 14 degrees outside with a 11-mile-an-hour wind, so it's about 6 degrees with the wind chill. So I came down to get a can of chicken and some green beans.
How are those doing?
They're cold, but they're they're still liquidy, even though it's 32 in here, but that's at the top up here. 89% humidity, so my potatoes are doing really good.
And how cold was it 2 days ago?
2 days ago, it was
negative 15.
Negative, yeah, it was super cold. It was negative 15 2 days ago, and it was still about 32 degrees in here. So it never really gets below 32. So even though 32 should be freezing, as you get lower to the floor, it's a little bit warmer. But you can definitely tell it's warmer down here than outside.
So mission accomplished?
Yes, definitely. It's nice and dry right now.
Well, how's it done for produce?
So my potatoes are doing really good. They're cold. Some of them are sprouting, but just a few of the red ones. And my squash is doing really good. I even got some zucchinis that are still doing really good down here. Yeah, they're all doing really well. Whew, I had to come inside to finish up this video because it's so cold outside. I can't feel my fingers anymore, but I got an egg this morning. Look how tiny it is. It's awful small, but I got it in time before it froze. So there's some really cold days coming up again. It's going to be warm tomorrow, but then it's going to drop down into the 20s again. And then there's going to be several days over the next couple weeks where we're going to be back down into the single digits at night again. And hopefully those are days that Dan and I both don't work at night and he can be home keeping the fire going and trying to keep this house warm. And in the midst of all of this, I have been planting my garden just to feel like it was getting close to gardening season. And I did actually get a shipment from the greenhouse supply store that I ordered some stuff from. So let's go check out what I got in the greenhouse. I love being in my greenhouse, but I don't necessarily like having to dig through the snow to get in here. But I wanted to open up my packages because I'm really excited about these. I normally just reuse all my garden stuff over and over again every year. And when it comes to transplanting time, I'm always just recycling different pots and stuff. And this year I found the Greenhouse Megastore. And they had some really good prices. And I just wanted to get some stuff that was all uniform and just easier to move. And so I thought I would try out some of their stuff. And right about this time of year when I get really, really sick of snow and it's cold, I like to be in my greenhouse thinking about gardening and thinking about warmth. So let's see what some of this stuff is. It's 14 degrees outside right now and my thermometer's upside down. So it's about 28 degrees inside the greenhouse, and that's with no sun. So it's a little warmer in here. And it's kind of dark because my shade cloth is still on. I didn't get it off in time. I gotta get it off because it's ripped. That's why I didn't pull it off yet, because I gotta take the supports off of it and everything that hold it on and take it apart and throw it away because it's had too many seasons of sun beating down on it and it ripped. So it's gotta come off, but it's frozen on there right now. Okay. Some paper. I got some of these pots. I use a lot of these for transplanting some bigger stuff. And they were only like 60 cents a piece, I think. So, and they come in groups of 10. So I got 10 of those. And I got the carrier trays for the 4-inch pots because I like to replant my tomatoes in 4-inch pots when I'm transplanting them. And I didn't have any of these things to carry them around in. I had maybe one, but it didn't fit. You know, it was for squares, and then everything was just so ununiform that I'm trying to make things easier for myself. So these hold 10, so I got a whole bunch of those. This is the first time I've ordered from these guys. These are my big pots. So these are the bigger ones. I think these were 2-gallon size. 2.25 gallons. So I use a lot of these for, you know, like mass growing, lots of herbs and stuff that you want big pots for. Those are. I think I've got, it's the end of January right now. Well, almost the end of January. Probably another 6 weeks before I'll start my plants. Doesn't mean I can't dream about warmer weather. A lot of 4-inch pots. These are perfect. Those fit in the carriers that I got. So these are perfect for my tomatoes. The whole box is almost full of those. More than a lot. And then I start all of my plants in these peat pots. And those fit my trays. 5 of these. I think 5. So 50 of them per tray. They're kind of pretty stuck together. But they're just the Jiffy peat pots. I got a bunch of those. I have a few of those left over from last year too. So I'm going to leave those sitting there. Looks like my rosemary is actually surviving the winter here a little bit. I'll show you. It's actually still usable. It usually doesn't survive outside during the winter, but I think it's doing pretty decent in here. It might actually live through the winter. I gotta get it some water though. Oh, it smells so strong, rosemary. And my lemongrass definitely didn't make it. That doesn't do well in cold weather. So these are the things that I've used before. And I use the peat pots because these things just don't seem to last very long. I use them over as much as I could, but see, I had a few of the 4-inch pots, and then I had miscellaneous sizes and shapes of the square pots, and just so much stuff. And I had one of the carriers for the round pots, but then the square ones right there didn't fit the pots that I had, and it's just kind of a jumbled up mess. So I'll probably go through a lot of that stuff, recycle what's recyclable that I can't use anymore, and then use the other stuff. So usually this is just winter storage in here. So we got another 6 inches of snow yesterday. The snow just keeps coming, and every time we think that we have it under control, we get more and more. And to top it off, this year our side-by-side broke. There's something wrong with the engine, so we don't even have that to snowplow with this year. So Deanne's been doing everything with the snowblower, which takes a lot longer. And yeah, it's one thing after another this year for dealing with this snow. We got to clean out the solar panels again today too. We've been a little bit lazy with that the last 2 weeks or so because we just haven't had any sun and there's just been nothing coming in. So instead of going out there and uncovering them every single day just to have them covered back up with another 5 or 6 inches of snow, we've got to just stop. We just haven't been cleaning them off because it's just more work. But I think we're going to see the sun today for a little while. It was supposed to come out at about 11 o'clock in the morning, and that'll be perfect for our solar window. So we'll definitely get those cleaned off this morning. And when it warms up a little bit this afternoon, I'm going to get my chicken coop cleaned out. Birds are at that feeder all day long. That thing will be empty by this afternoon. Dan's been filling it up every single day. It's not a huge one, but it's not little either. It's the only time of the year I can have my bird feeder up because otherwise the bears destroy it. So I hope you guys are staying warm wherever you are at this January day, and we will see you next time. Bye. Did not like me in here cleaning them out. They are all clean.